Have you ever been hurt by someone and they never said sorry? Maybe they even acted like you were the problem. It's like they bump into you, spill coffee on your shirt, and then ask, "Why were you standing there?" Yeah, thanks. That's the kind of thing that makes forgiveness feel impossible. But today, I want to talk about how we can actually forgive people, even when they do not say sorry. Let's be honest, forgiveness is hard enough when someone apologizes. But when they don't, oh man, that's when your brain starts replaying the hurt over and over, like a YouTube video on loop. And it's not just the big stuff. Sometimes it's little things as well, like someone cutting you off in the traffic, or that one friend who always forgets their wallet at lunch. But other times, it's deep wounds, betrayal, rejection, or harsh words that still echo in your mind years later. We think, if they just admitted they were wrong, then I would forgive. But here is the catch. Waiting for an apology keeps us chained to the hurt. Here is the first truth. Forgiveness isn't really about the other person. It's about you. Forgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to get sick. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Jesus taught us to forgive not because the other person deserves it, but because it sets us free. In Matthew 18, Peter asked Jesus, "How many times should I forgive? 7?" And Jesus basically says, "Nope, try 70 times 7. Translation, as many times as it takes. That doesn't mean forgiveness is easy, but it does mean it's possible. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, more than a few, my neighbor built this fence on my side of the property line. I was mad. Every time I saw that fence, it felt like it was staring at me, laughing. Like, "Hey David, nice yard. Shame you lost 2 feet of it." I wanted him to admit he was wrong, fix it, apologize, something. But he never did. So I had two choices. Keep being angry every time I looked out the window, or let it go. I finally realized the fence wasn't moving, but my heart could. I chose to forgive, even though he never said sorry. And you know what? My yard didn't get bigger, but my peace sure did. Now, let's clear up something. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying it's okay, because sometimes it's not okay. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to trust the person again, or be best friends, or pretend nothing happened. Forgiveness means you stop holding the debt over them. You stop being the judge, jury, and jailer. You hand it over to God, the only one who sees the whole picture. Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath." In other words, let God handle it. He's way better at justice than we are. I had a close friend once who just disappeared. No explanation, no call, nothing. One day we were hanging out, the next it was radio silence. That hurt more than I thought it would. At first I wanted answers, I wanted an apology, but it never came. Months later, I realized I had two options again. Keep being bitter or just forgive. So I prayed, "God, I don't feel like forgiving, but I know I need to." And slowly, He softened my heart. That wound doesn't control me anymore. So how do you forgive someone who doesn't say sorry? First, be honest with God. Tell Him how much it hurts. You don't have to sugarcoat it. He can handle the raw version. Then decide to release. Forgiveness isn't a feeling first, it's a choice. You may not feel like forgiving, but you can decide. God, I release them into your hands. Pray for them. I know that sounds impossible, but Jesus said, pray for those who hurt you. Not pray they step on a Lego, but pray God blesses them. Though between you and me, I've prayed the Lego prayer a couple times. And finally, repeat as needed. Sometimes forgiveness is like peeling an onion, layers. You forgive, then a week later the pain comes back. That's normal. Just keep forgiving until the wound heals. Here is the thing. When you forgive, you don't just set them free. You set yourself free. You make room in your heart for peace, for joy, and for healing. And let's be real, life's too short to waste it carrying around grudges. Those grudges are heavy. Letting go feels like finally putting down a backpack full of rocks you didn't even realize you were carrying. So maybe there is someone in your life right now who hasn't said sorry. Maybe they never will. But you can still choose forgiveness. Not because they earned it, but because Jesus forgave you first. Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it does open the door to a better future. So here is my encouragement. Don't wait for I'm sorry. Set your heart free today, and if you need to, whisper that little prayer. God, I release them into your hands. And who knows, you might just find yourself smiling again, even at fences that don't belong to you.